Boys, here we are, the unban list. I don't know, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Unban list, ban list, wish list. What I want them to take off from the ban list. This video is about what can or what should come off the ban list. This is not ban list predictions. If you're looking for ban list predictions, that video should have come out a couple hours ago. I think maybe this comes out first. I don't know, but it's the other video. I'll link it in the description for you to go watch. In the meantime, this is just for what should come off the ban list, because there's a lot of stuff on here that should not be on here or is on here, and Konami just kind of forgot about it. So we're going to get into it. This is my second attempt doing this video. I did the first video and realized there was no image, so it was just me talking to myself into a black void. So that was awkward. So help a brother out. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notification bells. That way you know when the content is out. Let me know if you like this type of content. Let me know what you should think can come off, or if you agree, if you disagree with the content that's being provided with you. Boom, boom, boom. Let's get into it. Oh, baby, the forbiddens. Pretty much everything that's forbidden should stay forbidden, but we'll go through them very quickly. Cyberstein, the only time he is relevant is when he is completely unhealthy and toxic to the meta. You cannot have him be both viable and healthy at the same time. It's just a dumbly, badly designed card. Get him out of here. Forbidden. True Nade, a lot of people are like, oh, we lost True Nade and it's causing such a bad meta. We need True Nade back. Nah, bruh. Here's the problem with True Nade. Whenever a new deck comes out, you have to give them a limit too. Otherwise, True Nade just makes them too good, because you're just negating 2/3 of the game for the other player. So it's not like True Nade was even in our meta to begin with. No viable deck could use him, right? And any deck that did start getting popularity that did use him would just find itself on the limit list. Even decks like that were bad, like Dragoonity. So Hidden True Nade did absolutely nothing. I think this card should stay forbidden, just so we don't have to keep limiting core cards and other strategies. Boom. Casitas. I'm gonna be honest, so it's kind of weird with Casitas. Even if he were to brought back to 1, 2, or 3, there's like no deck that can really turbo out him out good and still be like a good competitive deck. Every deck does it very slowly now, where compared before, it was like Element Saber, able to change the cards in their graveyard. Boom, water, Casitas is there. So I'm gonna be honest, even if he did come back, I don't think he'd be as bad as he was. Even when he got nerfed, he wasn't as bad, because all the decks around him were getting hit really hard. Plus, all the invocation stuff is limited as well. So, yeah, but either way, it doesn't matter. You know, things like Saber Dancer can't be targeted. Bloom Diva can't be destroyed. You shouldn't have both of those effects wrapped into one creature, right? Like, if, I can't Chalice it, I can't Needle Ceiling. It's like so few things I can do to it. Until the game has more options, get him out of here. We don't need him. That Grass is Greener. Now, Grass is Greener is limited for one reason and one reason alone. It's not because grass decks are broken, right? When Shiranui is really powerful and using grass, the only thing that caused is every other deck started playing 30 cards to counter it. And that meta shift, that type of meta warp, is just kind of weird and strange and not really representative of what your game is. It shouldn't be wrapped around having 30 cards in your deck just because of one deck, right? So, for that reason, this card has to stay forbidden. Alright, get into the limit ones, boys. Azure Eyes Silver Dragon, I still think to this day they hit Blue Eyes wrong. Blue Eyes right now is not meta relevant. It's a bad deck, right? It's just not a good deck right now. And it hasn't been in a good place since the nerf. And I really blame them for hitting the Azure and Melody combo. Like, they not only did they hit the consistency, but they also hit the overall power level and how strong the deck could be by hitting those cards as well. So I think that was just a really bad move. I think they should unlimit Azure Eyes, unlimit Melody, and hit something else. Give them a limit too. Maybe hit the Sage, and maybe hit the Cards of Consonance. I don't know. I have no idea. But those are the cards that need to be hit, not the Azure Eyes, because Azure Eyes is super important to have 1 to 2 copies of, and then the Melody, of course, we only have 1 copy. Just helps them greatly. Some people have been dropping the Azure Eyes to try and play Melody, and it's been brutal. It's not working. It's just not working for them. So free them. Free them, you know how it is. Bamboo Scrap, this is on here because of clogging your opponent's board. FTK, that can stay. Champion's Vigilance, you don't want to give, cards like Blue Eyes or Dark Magician a free Omni Negate. Makes sense. Funny enough, whenever we do unlimited tournaments, we don't actually see anyone play this card, but maybe it's just something people haven't thought about. I think it's fine at 1. Desynchro, FTK stuff, it's fine. Keep it at 1. Gem Knight, FTK stuff. You don't want to kill people in 1 turn. That's kind of dumb. Keep that at 1. Give and Take. This is you lock your opponent out of special summoning by putting the Raw's Disciple on your opponent's side of the board. That's toxic. We don't want that. Golden Bamboo Sword. The Bamboo Engine does not belong in Duel Links, dude. You know, maybe we can't do Bamboo Sprite anymore because the Taya skill nerf, but things like Bamboo Exodia, Bamboo Magic Counters, that's all still possible. So I'd rather this just not exist in our game. It doesn't belong. It doesn't belong in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Keep it out of here. Karakuri's. Karakuri's is an interesting one. So Karakuri, even in unlimited tournaments, does nothing. They play the old build and it does nothing because it's too bricky. It relied on Restart. And without Restart, you know, it's just not a good deck, unfortunately. That being said, I do think it needs some limits because I do think at a full power, Karakuri would be able to basically high roll their way through a couple tournaments and kind of face roll people because their 1-card combo, if they do get it, is insanely powerful. It's just, you know, inconsistent that they get it. I would say it would be fair if the Merchant went to like 2 and then the Nanishi became unlimited. I think that would be the most fair. Keep Merchant a little bit, it's already inconsistent, but make it a little bit more inconsistent. And then if they just open their combo, they open their combo and win. That's just how it's just how things are. I think that would be the most fair for that deck. Kwakimiro is dog shit. This deck, you could fully unlimit it, and it wouldn't even be rogue strategy in our current metagame. It's just too old. It's not good. That's just how it is. The deck, like, blows itself up in the end phase. You have to discard cards to get, like, effects off. Oh, man, that's just rough. Yeah, no. You could fully unlimit this archetype, and it would do nothing in our metagame, so take it all off. Massive Morph, Toxicity Stall deck card, keep that limit 1 or forbid it, doesn't really matter. Needlebug Nest will probably be a problem in the future if we ever get like a strong mill archetype, but I think it's fine at 1. But in the future, just like how Grass, if you just open it, you have an advantage, it would probably going to end up the same thing with Needlebug Nest. So it'll probably have to be addressed in the future. It's fine right now. Valkyrius is fine at 1. They just didn't want people to put Bryonic and Valkyrius in random stall decks. This has nothing to do with Necros. Yeah, it's just funny that it's on here. That's fine. The Performapal thing, no one's even ever used this, but it's apparently a stall deck, so yeah, it's fine. Keep it at 1. Restrictor Revolution can come back at 3. What they should do is just give it the blanket burn nerf that they've been doing with all the new cards. But I'm gonna be honest, even with its current state, without the Taya skill, the dual standby, you're not gonna FTK anyone with this, and you're just gonna immediately lose because the rest of your hand is complete garbo. So yeah, this can come off. It's whatever. Revival Gift, again, just like Bamboo Scrap, toxic. Keep it to 1. Star Blast, I like Star Blast as a card, but unfortunately, yeah, skills, the way they work, it would just trigger way too many skills that would otherwise not be triggerable. So this has to stay at 1, unfortunate. Storm, I think Storm should be unlimited. I really do, or at least limit 3 or something, because, listen, I think this is like how a fair true nade would look. You blow up your own back row to then blow up an equivalent of your opponent's back row. I think that's completely fine if you wanted to run it that way. Getting true nading for free, that's one thing, but like storming for your own cost, like your own spells and stuff, I think it's totally fine. The only deck that was like abusing this was like Evil Eye, like actually broken in it, and yeah, Evil Eye got wrecked, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. Melody, we talked about this when we talked about Azure. Type 0 Magic Crusher, this is just for an FTK involving Witchcrafters. I don't even think I ever saw anyone do it, so whatever, this can stay on here. Woodland Sprite is irrelevant now, as long as Bamboo's not around, and this can come off, it's whatever. Aloof Lupine. Aloof Lupine's interesting, because I think it should be unlimited, by the way. If you want to nerf Thunder Dragon, hit the Dragon Dark or something. They've hit Thunder Dragon Dark in the past before unlimiting it, or something like that, if you really want to limit them. Don't hit the Aloof Lupine, because even though it's not being used a lot now, this card is used in a lot of banished strategies, so for the future. And it would suck for them to immediately have a limit 2, in my opinion. I think it'd be awesome if this wasn't limit 2. So there you go. Amazon is Swordswoman. This is just on here, so people who play stall can't play her. Honestly, I think we have so many strategies and outs to stall right now that this could come off the ban list. And then not Harpies, Amazonas can actually use it and a limit too. And it would actually, you know, make them maybe relevant. Maybe, probably not relevant, but at least can do something. But yeah, that's the only reason it's on here as limit 2. Here we go. Blackwings. Now, Blackwings are interesting. I think they should at least unlimit the tuner and the synchros and then put the Blackbird close to 1 or something. Because that's really the only unfair part, the Blackbird close. Everything else in Blackwing, it's kind of hard for them. Even at fully unlimited, having to play through all the hand traps and stuff that we have in today's metagame is pretty rough. Pretty rough on them. The only unfair aspect of Blackwing was the Blackbird close. I think if you just make sure you limit that to 1, or, you know, or just keep it away from them, basically. You could even forbid it. The deck could come back full stop. I know a lot of people have PTSD from Blackwing, but it hasn't accomplished anything in, like, forever. So, you know, I don't want to see decks completely die off and never be used again. It would be nice to see them come back in some capacity. Charged Light Brigade. I wish this card could come off, but it's just too powerful. Engine cards just don't belong in Duel Links like this. 20 card, 30 card decks, this just wins you too many, so it has to stay at 2. Concentrating Current, this has to stay as well. Getting OTK through monsters with piercing, or, you know, invoked monsters is never fun, unfortunately. So this has to kind of stay at that limit 2 place. Cristrons should be unlimited. I don't know what you'd unlimit because there's so much junk on here, but the only thing that was toxic from Cristrons was Sea Stealth Attack. The Psychic Wielder build, which is like OTKing people, I think was super cool, actually. I don't think that was toxic at all. So they need to relook at what they limited, maybe limit the Sea Stealth engine or something, but, you know, maybe even keep Citri limited. But things like Impact, things like Rion, Undyne, Gen X Controller, bro. Bro, come on, man. Come on. Get those off there, man. Get those off there. It's not fair at this point. Cup of Ace. This should just be forbidden. I don't even know why it's limit 2. Just straight up forbid this thing. I mean, it's fine as limit 2, but the only time this card's being used is when it's just in straight cancer, right? Like, you're about to hit me with some stupid FTK that, you know, you need to hit all your Cup of Aces heads to make sure to get. I don't even know why this exists. Get it out of here. Cyber Load Fusion. Oh man, the Cyber Dragons. Listen, the skill was the problem, all right? Randomly getting like a whole bunch of monsters was a huge problem. With that being gone, none of these have to be on here anymore to balance the deck. You could unlimit all of these and it would barely be a tier 3 rogue deck, all right? The only thing that's a little questionable is should we give Cyber Dragon enemy controller concentrating current access to all the limit 2s? And that is a little where I get a little hesitant, right? That's why I say, okay, maybe we do have to keep Overflow at 2, you know, or the Cybernetic Fusion support or something, right? That way they don't go crazy and get all those other things. Because really, the only thing that's super like overpowering on this is that Overflow. Having that non-targeting pop is very, very powerful. But let's be honest, without the skill, Cyber Dragon has been done for a while. They're getting support very soon, so I think for sure we'll see some unlimits off the ban list. It's just a matter of what's coming off, and I personally believe it's everything that can come off is what's going to happen. So we'll see. Dark Lords, fuck no, dude. My personal PTSD deck. Dark Lords, they are peak Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. This is where the power scaling down has gone. If they come back in any capacity, they'll just immediately be the best deck, and they'll get more of our skills nerfed. This deck has just caused so much damage to the game, getting cards and skills and everything nerfed. We don't need all that. We don't need all that. So literally, Dark Lords, man, nerf them harder. Fuck it, nerf them harder. Rhino buzzin'. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't just hit Exabeetle. I don't know why they didn't just hit Exabeetle. I don't know why they put Exabeetle and Rhino Bus. You know, just it's kind of weird that they hit Rhino Bus. I guess he's older and it's rare. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, listen, whenever a deck is able to make Rhino Bus, it's usually very, very, very powerful. Just kind of the natural order of things with how bad our metagame has gotten, right? Non-targeting removal like that. So This is fair. This kind of has to stay on there. Maybe switch it out with Exabeetle. I don't know. We'll see. Elegante Egotist. Ooh, baby. I personally believe Elegant Egotist was the wrong hit. I think they should have hit the Channeler, maybe Perfumer, Oracle, something like that. But Elegant Egotist, all they did was just drop it down to 1 and then play TTH. This did not stop them from playing their Limit 2s. So it did not do its job. So it shouldn't be on here. Put the actual good Harpy cards on here. Remove this garbage. No one gives a shit. Put Swallows, put Perfumer, put Channeler, whatever you got to do to get people to stop playing the deck. Not Elegant Egotist. It didn't do its job. Enemy Controller has to be on here, otherwise everyone would have played at 3. Onomatopoeia. Oh, man. Automats. What happened? Yeah, their skill's dead. They could be fully unlimited, and this deck would be irrelevant. Some people are like, oh, I would just play triple Gaga head, triple sister. Yeah, you're probably gonna brick. You know, you can't search your sister. You can't search anything, right? It's just your opening hand. And if you open really well, yeah, you can still do what automats used to do. Well, no, you can't, right? Because you'd have to play like Destiny Draw or something to do what automats used to do. Because the skill, the way it works now, is you're also limited in what monsters you can summon. So you can't even summon the Rhino Bus or anything like that. So, unless you plan on just going skillless or playing Destiny Draw or something, you're just going to be skillless, you know? So, I don't know, dude. I think this strategy is just way too inconsistent now. You can fully unlimit this for the people who just love Zexal, I guess. It's the skill carry the deck hard and the skill's dead. That's just what it comes down to. So, there you go. Undying, we talked about Crystron's Gold Sarcophagus. This is another one of those cards where I think I should just go to a limit 3 or maybe even unlimit or something. I mean, again, we can't because of Thunder Dragons. But again, you just hit Thunder Dragon Dark to 1 or something. You'll be able to free up this Gold Sark. Because the Gold Sark's actually pretty cool in certain strategies, but you can never use it because there's something like Thunder Dragons that abuses it, right? So for right now, it has to stay at 2. But if other things change in the metagame, bam, coming off. Head judging. Yeah, this card should be forbidden. Why is this in the game, dude? The amount of times we've been in unlimited tournaments and someone flips this to just say, oh, well, I'm losing the duel, so, hey, you want to just coin flip to see who wins? This card's stupid as fuck. I don't know why it exists. Get that shit out of here, dude. Get that shit out of here. Magilincia. This is because of Invoke. They don't want them to use Concentrating Current. So yeah, you fix up Concentrating Current, you fix up Invoke, it can come off. Otherwise, it has to stay on here. Kakimiru, we talked about it, fully unlimited. And Merchant, we talked about that with the Nishi. Keeper of Dragon Magic. I want this off the limit list. I want this off the limit list. You can keep Neos Fusion on here. Okay, that's fine. That's totally fine. But Keeper of Dragon Magic, it's not just a Neo searcher. It can search other things. None of that's relevant right now, but we'll never get to a point where it will be relevant because he's always on the limit list, sharing a spot with Neos. So, what the hell? You know, keep Neos on here and take this off. I think that'll be fine. Oh, God. Kiteroids, probably second. This is probably Konami's second worst mistake, right behind Battle and Boxer. This should be like a hard limit 1 or forbidden. This card was never supposed to come out. It came out when hand traps weren't super relevant, and then people played it and said, oh shit, hand traps are actually really good. So then people started playing hand traps again. And then it was like immediately limit 2'd. So this card's dumb. They need to remove it from the game or put it limit 1. Nerf it harder. Legendary 6 Samurai Inishi. Let's talk about 6 Samurai. 6 Samurai, if they were at full power, the only problem with them being full power is that they have access to enemy controller and treacherous trap hole, right? So that's the only thing that's kind of scary about them. We talked about it last time where you could just put the Anishi to 1, and there you go, they're free. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, even fully unlimiting them with access to limit 2s, they're still an extremely weak deck compared to the current metagame. That's just kind of the life we live in. A lot of people have 6 Samurai PTSD, right? Because it was during an era where there weren't that many tournaments. People weren't really good at deck building yet. You see this tournament, this one meta weekly that just has so many 6 Samurai, and then people, the only way they could play around it, you know, was putting in like Lava Golem decks and stall decks and trying to win and stuff. That only lasted like a week. And which was like 1 tournament, 2 tournaments. And then, boom, Neos comes out, and it's like, oh, we were just upscaling the meta. That's all. So, yes, Six Samurai shits on old bad decks. But listen, man, it just isn't that good. You could fully unlimit it, and it would maybe be a tier 3, tier 2 deck. If you still have Six Samurai PTSD, unlimit the Anishi, keep the Dojo at 2, and call it a day. And there you go. And it would just continue to be a bad deck. That's just kind of where we are with Six Samurai. So there we go. Lunalight Crimson Fox limit 2 has to stay here because of Neos. It's not because of Lunalight, it's because Neos would abuse it and OTK people. Machine Angel Ritual has to stay here because of Witchcrafter. Dark Magician. I said this last time, I think Dark Magician gets a bad rap. I think now we have more tools. We have MST and Cosmics. If Dark Magician was tier 1, it would get absolutely obliterated by the back row removal cards. I think you fully unlimit Dark Magician except Magician's Rod, put Magician's Rod to 2, so they can't play things like Treacherous Trap Hole or Enemy Controller, and there you go. And you lower the consistency a little bit. Plus Balance is dead as well, so, you know, I think you just put the Rod to 2, unlimit everything else, and Dark Magician can come back totally fine. Misjudge, this is only on here because of the skill, and the skill's dead, so Misjudge has no reason to be on here. Neos Fusion is really powerful and really strong, and if it was unlimited, it would immediately be back in the metagame, so we probably can't. We probably can't. Pulse Mines will always be good if there's a machine deck, so probably has to stay at a limit 2 or become too stally. Ritual Beasts, oh baby, I think you could fully unlimit Ritual Beast at this point, and they would still do nothing. They've been in a bad meta for a year, basically, having to deal with Blue Eyes, having to deal with Harpy Ladies. They're extremely slow and take advantage of other average to slow speed decks, right? If your deck's not fast, like Harpies or old Blue Eyes for the nerf, they don't really do anything. And right now, Ritual Beast players, either they're the alpha male chads where they're just playing the crazy OTK, or they're playing super stally and, you know, just kind of waiting until they have a good hand. So Ritual Beasts, they don't deserve to be on here at this point. Scrap Recycler, we talked about that. We talked about Crystron's, talked about Shien's Dojo. Shiranui, oh man, I think Shiranui deserves some unlimits. And I know that's a hot take. But I don't think that Shiranui was part, you know, the Trapanui was definitely a problem, and how cheap the deck was definitely a problem. But we don't complain about seeing Blue Eyes on the ladder every day, you know what I mean? Shiranui, the performance was all over the place until Combo Shiranui rolled around. Trapanui was actually really weak. It just depended on what back row that you were able to garner. You know what I mean? I don't think the Shiranui portion is the problem. I think back row is the problem, and that's what they need to adjust. Back row has not been a problem in the Harpy metagame. No, Shiranui cannot come back full power, because that would be insane. But at the same time, there's no way that 1, 2, 3, 4 cards are on here. Oh my goodness, like that's gross, and they're all in limit 2? That's just not fair, man. That's not fair. I don't think they should have access to Squire. That's too powerful. But cards like Solitaire, cards like Spirit Master, I think are totally fine. And things like Sun Saga, at the very least, being at like a limit 1 would be more than fine for the deck. And then they're, you know, pretty much force them to play combo version. If you're not playing combo Shiranui, you can't play it at all, basically. I think that would be the way to go with Shiranui. I know people were excited when it finally got banned, but come on, man. Come on, bro. Like, what the hell is this? What the hell? Oh, man. Next up, we have the Silent Sword Slash. This was just limited because of an FTK with the Dark Passenger or whatever it was called. Yeah, honestly, this would come back and be totally fine. Silent Swordsman decks or whatever. It would be a nice little boost to them. But it also being at limit 2 doesn't really affect them that much. They're not going to run around playing enemy controller and stuff. So there you go. Spellbook of Fate. Spellbooks could come back at full power, and they would be completely useless. They could come back with full power and a little bit of support and still be completely useless. Unless they come back full power and give them major levels of support, this deck's irrelevant. So, I don't know why it's still on here at this point. I guess Spellbook PTSD or whatever. It's just irrelevant right now. So, get that shit out of here, bro. Next up, we have Star Seraph Sovereignty. It was just Dark Lords that shat on this, right? Dark Lords made this just not good. We finally have Ouroboros. I would like to see this come back unlimited. As long as we make sure we keep Dark Lord, you know, dead and unable to touch this, I think it's fine. I think every other deck, if you wanted to mix in the Star Seraph engine, go ahead. God bless, dude. Treacherous Trap Hole should be forbidden. I'm going to talk about that more in the ban list video, so go check that out. Vion. True Nade's gone, bro. Free my boy Vion. Hey, hashtag free the boy Vion. He got out of jail for like a week and then they put his ass back in. He did nothing wrong, man. He did nothing wrong whatsoever. All right? True Nade's gone. Heroes with TTH Econ ain't that scary. You know, free Vion, dude. What the fuck? Witchcrafter Holiday. Oh, man. Witchcrafters. Konami fucking... they release Witchcrafters. 1 month later, limit that shit. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I don't know. Unfortunately, Witchcrafter would just shit all over the meta if they were unlimited, so this kind of has to stay on here. But I would like to see Witchcrafters revisited down the road when the meta is a little stronger. We can talk about unlimiting this. World Legacy Clash. This is a hot take, but I think this should either go limit 3 or free. I think World Legacy Clash opens up the game in very interesting ways. You don't lose to beatdown anymore. You can stop attacks. If you're going to be negated, you can tag out with World Legacy Clash. I think it makes the game very, very interesting and adds a little bit of mind games to the game. You know, if you guys watched the games and it was like Dark Lord versus Desperado, the only reason Desperado was even able to play was because they were main decking Necro Valley and main decking World Legacy Clash to try and avoid, you know, basically avoid non-targeting shit, right? Like even like right now, let's say Rhino Bus is in the game. You activate this, Rhino Bus activates his effect. You can activate this in response. You've dodged the Rhino Bus. That's something we can't currently do in the game without like negating the Rhino Bus. So I like this card. I'd like to see it come back in some fashion, not as a limit 2. Maybe if TTH gets forbidden or something, people start playing him more. I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those cards. It's not as good as Econ and TTH to ever take the spot, but it's still a good card, you know? Invoker, I just believe Invoker doesn't belong in Duel Links. They could get some unlimits. They do have like a bunch of shit in limit 3. I mean, it is kind of weird to have him and Invocation at limit 3. But yeah, I mean... Listen, bro, he just doesn't belong here. Not yet. He give him another year or two, and then he can come off. Battle and Boxer should be forbidden. This card's dumb. This is like the biggest mistake Konami's ever done. It doesn't work very well with D-Draw, so you know it can stay at limit 3 or just forbid it. That'd be nice. Cosmic Cyclone, I would love for this to come off, but they want to push Pendulum, so this has to stay limit 3. Floodgate Trap Hole, I would love this to come off, but we have to play around Pendulums. They suck ass. This has to stay at limit 3. Fusion Reserve, this can come off. Alistair and Invocation scuffed enough. I think this can come off. Give him a little bit of a break. Lunalights? Lunalight should have never been banned, dude. Lunalights, this hit of Lunalight putting these cards at limit 3, besides the Fox, these two. The Fox is fine. These two should never have been hit. This is literally just to sell Tinky. That's it. That's the only reason. So that's not a valid enough reason for me. Get them out of here, dude. We don't need these cards limited. We've talked about Dark Magician, Element Saber. Yeah, I don't ever want to say again. It's the same thing with Alistair. It's just too strong for the current metagame. And then Shiranui, we have talked about already. So there we go. All the cards talked about. What can be unlimited, what cannot be unlimited. Tell me your opinions, your thoughts. Leave them down in the comments. That's really all I have. Thanks for watching, boys. Like, comment, subscribe. I love you. Till the next time.